So I'm a bit, if you guys have been watching the videos now for, you know, the last probably 2.5 years, 2 years, whatever, I'm not like a health junkie these days, but I do watch a lot of what I eat, or I try to. Everybody has those splurge days, but I'm not like a full health gym rat nerd, but I have been very active in the gym for like 2 years, and I try to, you know, be a little bit more on the conscious side about, like, you know, sodium intake and, you know, caloric intake and sugar intakes and stuff like that. So I'm a big fan of like C4s, mostly for like pre-workout because they're cheap and they taste good. But I've been on a Red Bull freaking sugar-free kick. This new monk fruit extract one is so good. But then, of course, you know, we got these Easter looking ones, the purple and the pink. So we're gonna give these a try today. Not drinking all of them by any means, Lord no. But welcome back to the channel, guys. So far this morning we've just had some breakfast. It's a slower day. I am getting to the shop about 9:30. It's just about basically 9:30 now. We're just gonna be making some roof braces today. We're going to be just trying to make some headway on that. I think I should be able to finish up this batch. Now this time I'm doing things a little bit different than I normally do. And normally I'll take pre-orders, usually tell people 4 to 6 weeks, and then I usually knock them out and I try to get it done within, like, you know, probably like two to three, just so that way it's one of those under promise, over deliver type scenarios. This one, I just, because the way my schedule is always so random, like I just got off a spurt of like a 5-week super straight busy period where I had a few inquiries on these roof braces. I just had no time to make them. So this time I'm just trying to make these really quick while I'm in a dead spot and try not to stress about being dead. And then that way they're done. Then I can take the pre-orders and I can order the boxes for them really quick, because those ship basically overnight from SoCal. And then package them up, drop them off, call it good. But anyways, yeah, Red Bull's gas station. I hate Circle K's because they're always so sketchy. But let's get to the shop. Oh, reliable, good car. Love this thing. Just wish it burned less oil. Okay, so we're here. We got one roof brace pretty much made up. I like to build these all with the welds on the one side that I can access on the fixture, and then I go through and I weld the rest off the fixture. Yeah, this batch is gonna be a batch of 11, so pretty simple. There's no quick or fun way to go about doing these things. I just, they're tedious to make. Like, I know you guys that have them really like them, and I liked it when I had mine, but let me tell you, making them is really boring. It takes not a whole ton of time, but when you're doing the big batch like this, it takes a couple days. Like, everything's pre-cut, you know, not, you know, I have to pre-cut everything, but you know how long it took me to notch this? This is 2 notches. This is what, 48 pieces? There's like 96 notches that I had to do. That took me like 3 hours just standing there at the table with the tube notcher. So that was really unfun, but pretty much everything's good to go. This is the last piece. I changed up the mounting tabs slightly. I don't have a consistent way because I don't have, when I drew the part file, I didn't draw it with a bend line, so I could pay send to bend it for me. And I'm still really new to CAD, so I got to figure out how to do that anyway. But basically, because every time I make a batch of these, the mounting tabs are a little bit inconsistent on the dimensions for the bend location. So my tubes are usually just a little bit off. So this one, cut the one end and notched it. The other end, I usually just have to cut it by hand and mark it or whatever as I'm in the middle of the brace. But really nothing special to it. But this is a little, you know, heads up if these aren't sold out by now. This is the, you know, announcement that, hey, there's some available, and you should hit the website and scoop one up. So I'm going to go ahead, and we're just going to be plugging away at this. Just plugging away. So all right, so these are the ones that I have almost made. Again, I got to weld all the back sides of all these. So we got what, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. I kind of goofed. So like I mentioned, the tabs being inconsistent at the bend points, I didn't realize I had 3 sets left over from my previous batch. So my head thought they were all the same, so I pre-cut the rear lengths for this size, not the previous size, and that doesn't fit. So I gotta go get one more stick of material. Can't do that today, don't have my truck with me. So they will still all be on the website. I will just have to make, you know, take an hour to make those last 3, but I'm gonna go ahead and finish welding these out. And then was sitting on my phone, came to the realization that there's a FCP Euro meet this weekend. I take the car tomorrow to the body shop to get repaired. But the issue is I'm kind of running out of time this week because work is thankfully starting to kind of trickle back in. but the meet is Sunday, and I don't really have time to work on the car this week other than maybe Friday, depending on how the workflow goes on the jobs I have coming up. So the rear flares are going to be slightly problematic. I won't be able to do those Saturday, maybe. It's a long process. So I think once I finish one of these out, we're going to try and slap these front flares on really quick. And I guess this video has now turned in from kind of like just a vlog into repairing the E36. So yeah, we'll get footage of kind of everything as we go. But yeah, shit happens. Felt like working on this instead. So just to recap, in case you guys didn't see what happened, we were at Slush Motorsports Festival, and I was in a 4-car tandem. Car in front of me spun. Jesse Awuji, he has a YouTube channel. He's, you know, big on social media. He's got like his own NASCAR team and, you know, does all that stuff. But he, you know, just 2 mistakes, and I happened to be in the middle of them both, and I got hit. So this is the damage, and this is all hopefully going to get fixed. The issue primarily is the door is stuck shut. So this is all going to hopefully get repaired tomorrow. We're taking it to a local drifter who him and his father own a body shop. He's already looked at the car, had high hopes that at least the door line should get fixed pretty well. This should get pulled mostly, and the back seat got buckled a bit, but he said that should come out with this. But overs are going to happen, but in the short term, like I said, we're doing the fronts because of time constraints on getting the car ready between the next event as well as a meet that we're doing here soon with some bigger companies. I just want the car looking decent, presentable, if you will. So these flares are pretty straightforward. If you've never installed flares like this on the fronts, it's pretty easy. You just kind of mock it up, tape it up. The fronts, there's no fanciness to it. You're really just, for me, I'm gonna fasten it with Rivnuts and hardware. That way I can easily remove it. The only thing is I have to remove my turn signal and trim the flare for that. But past that, the fronts, you just basically take a Sharpie and you can trace. I usually go arch line. Well, I'm sorry, on the fronts, you just follow the arch line, and then you kind of, if you need more, you can trim more. The rears, you got to follow the arch line, go up a little bit, trim the outer layer, bend it all up, weld it, blend it. It's a pain. So let's mock up fronts. Okay, so fronts are, you know, quick bolted on. Just use self-tappers to mock them up, and now the holes are all there so I can go through. Obviously got to pull these back off, and then I got to cut the fenders up. The turn signal, I'm just going to have to figure that part out. I'm going to try and trace the back side and then see if I can't line up the holes, and then probably going to try and just recreate this similar OE mounting style. It's just the one screw and then this little clip here, so this should, you know, sit on the flare nicely. But a little bit of tomfoolery with that, but otherwise subtle but effective. It looks good still. Got rid of my bulldog stance and fully tucked that out, so now I can actually fit a bit wider of a wheel for sure. I think these are only like 15 mil front and rear, so not a whole lot, but you know, it'll do what I need it to do, which is cover my boo-boo. I guess technically day 2 of this video, but today is the 5th. We're gonna go drop this thing off at the body shop. Just waiting on Alex to show up so he can follow me, so he can drive me back. And then we'll just have to wait a couple of days for this to get done, and then we'll see what happens. I also took the front fenders home last night, got these wrapped up, so these are looking nice and pretty. Shout out to my fiance for lending a hand and doing most of the work, because she's got the magic touch with the wrap stuff so far, so it's looking great. Gotta leave him with one of the flares to try to line up this side, so I'm gonna take the other one home with me tonight and probably wrap that, so that one's already ready to go. Alright, fast forward about a week and a half from that last clip. The car is back from the body shop, and I just got the front overs put on the rest of the way. Very subtle looking, so not super flashy, super wide. It's wide enough to cover my wheel now, whereas before I had quite a bit of poke out. I believe the fronts are around 15 millimeter, and I think the rears are about 15, maybe 25. But so yeah, you know, I mean, maybe run a spacer in the rear, but it gives me room for nicer wheels when I can afford them. This one fits really nice. I just got to trim just a little bit right here because the gas lid just scrapes it a bit, but past that, this side fits beautifully. Now concerning the other side, obviously the damaged side, the only, you know, the good thing is the door works, so that's very good. This door I am replacing. Again, I already have a spare one, got it wrapped and ready to go. But honestly, the quarter panel work I'm pretty bummed on. I was pretty straightforward. I didn't require a lot. So when I dropped the car off, I initially just told him, hey, pull what you can. I'm more worried about the door line because I need a functioning door to pass tech. So whatever you can get sorted on the door, if you got to cut the door up, whatever, I have a spare one. Just work on the door, whatever you can pull past that, the flatter the better. I expected a car to come back kind of looking like a crumpled, you know, wrinkled Coke can a bit, and instead I got, you know, 4 pounds of Bondo. So this is actually a piece that already chipped off because I was kind of testing to see how deep it was, because you can see I was using these 1/2-inch long fancy rivet looking pieces. So I was trying to see if I could get it to bite. Like, it'll bite on all the back ones, but they misshaped the panel a bit, which isn't a huge deal, but now I'm gonna have to put a piece here, like a self tapper there, as well as up here. But you can see it's just I mean, the lighting's not picking it up because I have the door open, but yeah, that's very, very thick bond. Let me try and cover some of that light. Yeah. Well, the issue is this is literally about a 1/2 inch thick or so of Bondo. Like no metal, like this whole center section here. This, they tried molding it or shaping it so I could put the trim panel back in. That's not even accurate sizing. Way off by about a 1/4 inch. So I'm pretty pissed, honestly, because not only does that, you know, that's just unacceptable for a drift car in my opinion, because the first tire tap this quarter panel receives, this is all going to crumble to dust. Now it is going to get rewrapped, but it's just going to show through all the wrap. And again, this is also going to be hidden behind fiberglass, but obviously this stuff flexes a lot. So once this takes its initial first hit again, this is easy to repair. It's just fiberglass, but all that Bondo is just going to crumble to dust, unfortunately. The other thing that I was pretty bummed about is the condition that I received the car in. Now, here at my shop, never in a million years would I leave a customer car just trashed, like dirty. If I'm doing any sort of interior work, like this Beetle, for example, I'm building a roll hoop and, you know, making seat brackets and stuff. In between, during, and at the end, I vacuum all these cars out just to, you know, clean it, but also as like a thank you. If it's a nicer car with nicer paint or something and you know, it got drizzled on, like I'll go and wipe the car down. But my point is I never leave customer cars dirty if I can help it. I try to return it in at least bare minimum condition that it came in, usually a little bit better, because it's like my thank you for bringing me your vehicle. My car, I didn't get that same treatment. In my opinion, I got the, you know, shitty drift car treatment, where the car was pretty nice until, you know, the quarter panel hit. The windows, this one wasn't working, and the other one, they rolled down for some reason. And I believe the car was left outside for the duration of a rainstorm or so, because there was water marks all up inside the car on the door cards. The roll hoop boxes on both sides have surface rust on them, whereas, you know, they definitely didn't before. And then the biggest issue was there was an absolute like inch of dust, Bondo dust, which I know gets everywhere, but it's still in all the creases, just everywhere. But it was all over the interior, the seat, you know, the roll cage, the carpet, center console, gauges, everything. I have a $1,500 ECU that I had concerns of getting water on, because the E36s, I don't have the cowl cover here, so through these hood vents it can kind of just trickle in there. I saw water was on my coil pack cover, which is good that I have the bigger or stainless steel one to hide the coil packs, because I have had issues before with water getting in there and, you know, making things unhappy. But the car was just super, super dirty. And the fact that it was left out in the rain with, you know, all my gauges right here exposed, and again, my ECU being of concern. So overall, not stoked on the experience. Door is fixed. Now, I'm not going to go name dropping, because I believe you get what you give. Your quality of work is your signature. So if this is the kind of work that's being put out, it won't be long until, you know, things just don't go well for you. Now, unfortunately, or well, I should say fortunately, this is fully repairable. Really, I should have just had them pull the door and fix that stuff, because the rest of it I could have just done myself. I have a few buddies that have spare E36s that they don't mind chopping up the quarter panel for, because they're just beat up shells. And thankfully I've got a few buddies that are willing to help. So eventually this will just be metal again. At the end of the day, yes, it is a drift car, but that's not the point. Again, my point is, like, the car was just trashed, and it was not basically done how I told him. I told him I didn't want Bondo, don't worry about finishing it, it's going to get wrapped. Now I got to go through, sand everything back, and finish the work essentially, and then try and, you know, make it all fit. But I'm pretty much going to wrap this video up here. We got the panels fitted, everything looks pretty decent, but I don't have time this week to, you know, kind of keep wrapping things up. This week we do have a drift and drag event, which is just a more local fun one. No need to get the car all flashy. In the next video, I do need to change my inner tie rods, as well as replace this wheel bearing. I have the parts for that, but I just don't have time, because we got some cars to work on. So if you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. If you're new to the channel, hopefully you want to hit that subscribe button. I want to say thank you guys for 26,000 subscribers. That is awesome. Stepping stones, little by little. Also a big surprise in the next video, because I'm very stoked and proud of myself for a purchase I just made recently. So yeah, anyways guys, do what you love. Think about the rest. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.